I think a week before I started. So I didn't, none of us, we're 4 girls, and none of us have ever been told, like, this is what you're going to do, or, there comes a point where you have to, get involved in the family business. It sort of happened, and the reason, people say, but why you and not your sister, or why are you the visible one and not the others? And it happened because it was a summer that my sister had just started college. My other sister lived in Caracas. The other sister was married and living somewhere else, and I was home. So my mother said to me, listen, I'm going to launch a new perfume, and I want to get some ideas, I want to get some feedback from a younger generation. And would you be interested in the summer to come in the office, intern, learn about this, give us your vision, your ideas, your view of what we could do? And that was 1996. So I always say it was me because I was there. It wasn't because I have the same name or because I was the chosen one or anything like that. That was the launch of 212, the first perfume that I worked on. And at this time, I had just finished working at Rockefeller University, where I worked in science, and I was working in film. So for a while, I did perfume and film, until I just couldn't handle, so much in my plate. Well, honestly, I could make a living. I could live. But I love film, and I still dabbled in it, and the reason I came to Spain wasn't to work on the perfumes, although they're here. It was to do a documentary. I was producing a documentary at the time. So for a very long time, I would say till about 2002 or 3, I worked on film still. I did both. I think it's something one does organically. You don't think about it, you don't make it a point that you are the daughter of, or that you're not even. You have to just be yourself and be natural. Everything I do like at 120%. So I don't, whether it's for her or I'm helping somebody out doing something, or even homework with the children. So it doesn't really matter. I'm still going to put like my 120%. And I think at first you maybe have that in your head, like maybe I'm here because I'm the daughter, maybe I'm not, I shouldn't be here, because I didn't know anything. I never thought I'd work in perfume. I'd never thought I'd work with her, so it was all very natural. But I think with time comes responsibility, success, and more to do, more to expect, So if I'm still here, I thought, well, I think I'm doing okay. I had such a cool, great group of people that I worked with that it was never, they never expected me to know everything. They never made me feel you're here because you're daughter of. It was like we were all sort of doing it together. And they knew, and I made it very clear that I was there to learn. I didn't know it was going to be a long-time job. I began as an intern. I began as giving me ideas. Let's launch this new perfume. This is what we're going to do. It didn't begin as this is your first day of your job for the rest of your life. So that, that makes a huge difference. It's cozy. It's like comforting. For example, my sister works in fashion though, and I work in perfume. So we don't actually work together, except for example, today, there's some meetings in New York that I'm not going to be there for something that has to do with the perfume. So I called her and I said, can you be my eyes and ears? Because I trust her like 100%. So those things are kind of great. The communication's always really good. They call me, I call them, we're doing, so it's very fluid. There's no, some people ask, well, it's you the one that does the perfume, it's you the one that are visible, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't really matter to any of us. In a way, we're all there, and each one has, her own responsibilities. Mother is the boss, and that's that. It's fun. No, we speak a lot, and not always we talk about the business. Sometimes I'll be like, what's going on with this that I know she's working on, or she'll say, what are you doing? For example, now for this next 3 weeks, the shows are coming. So now I'll be, we'll be chatting about that more, and this launch is happening in New York, a perfume launch, so we'll be talking about that. So yes, but we talk all the time. I mean, I know when I wake up in the mornings, when they wake up in the mornings, I know to expect their call. So I know around 5:30, 6, my sister maybe earlier, I'll be talking. I don't know if there's any, actually, because, one of the very advantages that doesn't make, allows for no disadvantages is that I live in a different place. I live in Madrid, my mother lives in New York, my other sister lives in New York, but we have very separate lives. I think the disadvantages come when you're like little clones of each other, and maybe you all want the same thing, and you're doing it for the wrong reasons, and you don't have a life but that. So I think what's amazing about this is that we each have our own lives, our own interests, and then we have this link that in a way makes us closer rather than disadvantages and separates us. So when we see each other, when we spend time together, which we spend quite some time together, it's not all business. We may discuss something that's going on. I think in a meeting, but usually when we have interviews together, my mother and I, when she travels to the launches of the store or the perfume, that's when we travel together. And then when she does shows or anything related to New York and the collection, she travels with my sister. And sometimes, first of all, I am always amazed because every interview she gives, I learn something. And I always think, she's been doing this for so long. How can she still have something new and fresh to say? So that's inspiring. And then she always tells me I start acting like her mother because I'm always correcting her. Like, you're late, or don't do this, or why you do that. She says I drive her crazy. So she's like, don't ask, we're sitting at an interview and something will be asked, and she'll go like this to me, like, shh, don't act like my mother. Yes, when you've grown up with somebody, things sort of start blending. Sometimes I do things and I think, oh, I'm acting like my order. Not necessarily work related, more like personal, like organization, the things I say to my children that maybe I've heard her say to me, things like that. I think it's normal. I think once you sort of repeat those things that you hear. But it's not really my name. It is my name. It's funny because I always joke and say I'm the real Carolina Herrera because it's my father's name. So I'm the real one. But in a way, it is my name, of course, but I know that it's her name. This was something that has been going on for a long time, that she started, and I'm sort of working it. Not necessarily, I don't know if necessarily I'm going to continue it. Maybe it would be my sister, maybe me, maybe somebody else. We don't know. I think it's been pretty long term. I've been almost 20 years, I think 17 years with the perfumes and with the company. And every year we have great projects. Every year we have different projects. Every year we have successes, which always helps in the development of new ideas and new projects. So I think I'm in it. Yeah. Because I gave my sister, who had her firstborn before I was even married, I think. No, her child was already born when I got married. Asked me if she could name her Carolina, and I said yes. There's still the Carolina in the family. It's my niece. But I think the advice is just be humble, learn, Don't feel the pressure that people will put onto you, because that pressure is not something that is innate. It's people who around you who think, well, maybe you're there for the wrong reasons, or maybe you can't do it, or this and that. Just be humble and follow the instinct. And if you are there and you're doing things well, then you're meant to be there.